Well, I met with Frank Jacob from the um, UFO presentation and conference on Project Looking Glass that was held in West Virginia. He was the main speaker on the last year on the 9th of September. And at that meeting, we discussed the levels of UFO or UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena disclosure, that were taking place not only in the United States but around the world. And we agreed that it was taking place on three levels. One, at the level of government, the various governments of the world. Two, in Hollywood and media, multimedia. And third, on a personal level. And then I also went to a special conference that was sponsored by Gaia Television Network here in the United States, devoted to metaphysical phenomena and UFOs, in conjunction with Disclosure Fest Foundation last year from the 10th to the 12th of November. And there were many UFO experiencers on a panel there. And rather than participate in the panel myself, I attended it with Sue Phelps, the publisher of the Veterans Reporter News in Las Vegas, Nevada, to document and write down in a series of articles what these UFO experiencers had to say. And the experiencers were Kim Carlsberg, Barry Littleton, Geraldine Orozco, Robert Potter, our friend from Mount Shasta, and Jason Quitt. And so let me talk about these different levels. So we have, we have the government. So ever since the ongoing investigations on unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, that began on the 25th of June, 2021, it's come to the public's attention that various agencies of the United States government have never quit investigating UAP reports. So they closed Project Blue Book in 1969. That was the official Air Force investigation. But the various branches of the military, as well as the space agency, NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, have continued to investigate UFO reports. And that what the congressional hearings determined was that the UAP exists as a real physical phenomena worthy of further scientific study, but they've fallen short of discussing the existence of UAP as manned exploration vehicles from beyond Earth or our plane of existence. So here we see the new term UAP being applied as unidentified aerial or anomalous phenomena, and it's primarily a term used in scientific research and formal discussion, while UFO, the older term, is unidentified flying object, which simply means something that's sighted in the air in aerial capacity, but that's unidentified. Okay. Then we come to Hollywood and soft disclosure. Many people are being gradually accustomed through motion pictures and multimedia like television and sci-fi serials like Star Trek and so forth, Resident Alien and different programs, to condition themselves to the possibility of aliens, so it won't come as a shock when extraterrestrials really do appear. And I have to say that this soft disclosure really goes back quite a ways. In The Day the Earth Stood Still, which was a movie in 1951, and the follow-up to it, also starring uh, Patricia Neal. That one was called Visitor from Venus, and the technical consultant for those movies was Sir Desmond Leslie from British royalty. Um, and he also co-wrote the first book with George Adamski called Flying Saucers Have Landed. And then later on in 1956, there was a movie called Earth versus the Flying Saucers. And the technical consultant on that movie was Major Donald E. Kehoe, a retired Marine Corps major and pilot, who was the director of the first um, the first of the uh, objective UFO groups in the largest one in the world, National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, or NICAP. And so here in the picture, you see flying saucers hovering over Hollywood. So what stake do the moguls of Hollywood have in promoting a belief in UFOs among the American public? So that's one of the themes that we're going to be looking at in the conference. And then the personal, we are the disclosure. In 2021, a national poll indicated that 90% of Americans believed in the existence of UFOs, 50% have actually seen them, and another 15% have actually communicated with extraterrestrial or ultradimensional entities at various levels of contact. And the Starway to the Stars panelists, the UFO experiencers, concluded that more people were experiencing contact with ETs and ultradimensional entities on a personal level, and that this would be the ultimate disclosure, with the government eventually coming around to admitting to the existence of UFOs as extraterrestrial spaceships, but that this would only come as an acknowledging afterthought. This is the picture of Alexis Brooks, the Stairway to the Stars chairperson. She's an African-American author, speaker, and journalist, and hosts a popular podcast called Higher Journeys. So she narrated the panel and steered it in very interesting directions, and like to share this information in the ultimate UFO disclosure when I get to Germany. So when we look at the various kinds of personal disclosure from UFO experiences, this is Dr. J. Allen Hynek's classification that he created in 1972 for close encounters. So you have close encounters of the first kind, which are sightings in which one or more UFOs have been reported, but with no documentary evidence other than just the report itself. Close encounters of the second kind involve trace evidence, crop circles, environmental damage, animal reactions, electrical or mechanical interference, UFO experiencers perceiving excessive heat or radiation that have been validated by doctors, and there's even UFO photographs. So this would be close encounter of the second kind. Of the third kind are those UFOs in which occupants have been spotted, some kind of animated entity. And of the fourth kind involve the abduction of human beings associated with UFO UFOs. For example, back in 1961 on Route 3 in New Hampshire, when Betty and Barney Hill were driving home from a vacation in Canada, they were abducted by beings that was later determined that they were from Zeta Reticuli. They're based on a star map that they drew under hypnosis. Dr. Benjamin Simon, under auspices of Dr. Simon, and they gave it to astronomers who plotted the stars in the map to the Zeta Reticuli system. Then close encounters of the fifth kind are those where bilateral contact of some sort occurs with an extraterrestrial, either through mental telepathy or maybe some direct audible form of communication, or even a kind of sign language and so forth. And this would be like the typical contactee report, such as George Adamski that I was writing about in the UFO Nachrichten. Then close encounters of the sixth kind entail a UFO or its occupants directly causing injury or death, and close encounters of the seventh kind are the most controversial. In this type of encounter, humans or extraterrestrials are actually mating and produce a hybrid kind of being. So this is the kind of thing that we'll be talking about and providing lots of evidence. All of our speakers are coming from backgrounds where they share this information. And the important thing to remember here is that while 15% of people are having actual contact with extraterrestrial or ultra-dimensional entities on one kind or another. So the people that that are contactees or abductees should be taken seriously. They're not the only ones. There's so many millions more that just don't talk about these experiences, but it's very it's very real. And so yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody at the Ultimate UFO Conference.